a girl, I trusted the world. It wasn't ugly. It was so pretty, you'd want to frame it. It came in back issue National Geographics, 25 cents at a thrift store. Are the Swiss force in peril? I needed to know. I reached for them when the apartment got too noisy. A thud. A shriek. My mother panting outside the door before her boyfriend threw her against it. I took home whatever National Geographic I could afford. Archers in the Congo, the geometry of Kyoto's tea gardens, Hungarian cowboys, Parisian women, and a Bulgarian bear who dances with a gypsy. The world sucked the darkness out of our basement apartment with a green dumpster outside. Forgiving is not easy. Some days, it's a spot on the horizon. My plan was to move far away, so I tried my luck as a waitress. On an exceptional night, I made 1,000. I stashed bills in the freezer. When another waitress told me that's the first place burglars looked, I got better making bank deposits. Travel was waiting. English poet Alexander Pope once said, "To err is human, to forgive, divine." Of course, his last name is Pope, so he has to forgive people. Yet the second most quoted author after Shakespeare is on to something, because forgiveness does improve our mental health and self-image. The American Psychological Association, January 4th, 2017, reports that when we are wronged, we dislike ourselves. But when you stand up to the pain of the injustice and offering goodness to those who hurt you, you change your view of yourself. Forgiveness liberates others because it ultimately frees us. A House in the Sky by Amanda Lindhout and Sara Corbett. Getting ready for work was like getting ready to go on stage. Put on your highest heels, truss up your hair, paint your eyes, and lips. Waitresses made a lot of money. Your job was to be stunning, which made men want you and other women jealous. I opted for an old trick. Layering a push-up bra over a padded bra that made me feel like I had an iron bar strapped to my chest, but served its purpose. Some girls cashed in tips and got boob jobs as an investment. But a legendary high earner used her tip money to take long, exotic vacations. People who came into the bar more often would ask, "What do you want to do?" I want to see the world. It felt exactly that simple. Funny thing about National Geographic, it told the same story. You're here, we're there. It was a provocation. Like a lot of backpackers, I was a country counter. Most kept quiet until they got over 30. After 4 years, I'd been to 46. I learned to not think twice while using toilet holes. Pages from my magazines opened into something real. The world was a set of monkey bars. I swung from one place to the next, knowing my arms or my quivering bank balance would give out. It struck me as glamorous to get paid to travel. I did want to be more than a waitress. After all, the world was full of travel magazines. I was a traveler. Who was to say I couldn't sell photos of places I went? I downloaded Reporting for Dummies, read through several times. An editor at my hometown paper let me write and shoot photos for a weekly column. I set my sights on Somalia. My mom compared my plans to having sex without a condom. Reckless. What was reckless was the way people were writing off swaths of the world as unsafe, unstable, unfriendly, when all they needed to do was see for themselves Somalia was a mess. Raging war, impending famine, religious extremists. There were stories there. Somalia was risky, but profitable. Few reporters dared go there. I was glad for the lack of competition. Approaching the city, dust hung in the air. I felt our car slow and saw a gun pointed at our windshield. Bandits circled our car. I hoped for robbery. Fast, then vanished. My driver was thrust into a ditch. A man in a scarf yelled in my face. I raised my arms like I'd seen in movies. Was this real? I caught sight of a woman. She pretended she hadn't seen. Then someone shoved me, and I dropped next to my driver. Out of one eye, I could see a gun pointed at my head. I thought we were about to be shot. We were pulled to our feet and back into the car. We made an abrupt swerve and ran right over bushes. With every passing minute, we were rushing from anywhere. Someone would look for us. I'd heard them say 1.5 million. Hostage taking was business, fed by people like me. To them, time didn't matter. Where is it we learn the cliche about how talking can help keep you alive? How it's necessary to remind the bad guys that you're a human being. I was lost in some underground place. I was naked. My hands and feet were roped together. I struggled to breathe, trussed like an animal. It's too tight. My hands tied back. My breath squeezed like something would burst. I blacked out sounds they made. I imagined Nepal, Calcutta, Kabul, train stations, the tent I'd slept in on a bank of a lake in Guatemala. I followed this from moment into hour, day into week, as boys came and went. I was wishing my captors would kill me so the pain would leave. All the bricks of courage I'd stacked up over years of traveling were starting to come down. I was alone, but death was close by, waiting. My captor talked about a deal with a militia who had enough money to wait for the full ransom. 10 years or longer. Death had to be better. Until at some sandy path, my captors sold me to a member of Somali parliament. Paid by a security firm my family had hired. And on a phone, my mom's voice. You're free. For my own good, I strive for forgiveness above all feelings. Those boys and the leaders were products of a violent, unending war that has orphaned thousands of children. With this breath, I choose to forgive, despite that they were wrong. And I forgive myself going to Somalia. I've continued to travel, to find sustenance, as I always did, out in the world, in India, in South America, and in Africa. Forgiving is not easy. Some days, it's a spot on the horizon, but I point in its direction.